Consumer Energy for being on the scene immediately, side by side, working with the emergency operations teams to know where people were going, where they were needed, and what gas needed to be shut off where. On top of that, AT&T FirstNet set up a system that brought up more towers and was able to help everyone using their cell phones to make sure that they were able to connect with families and to make sure emergency services were able to talk amongst each other with our radios and all of the cameras that we use those systems. So ultimately, again, 44 years ago, we had a much more tragic event come through and caused 5 lives to go. Last night, because our community is working hard together all the time, and because they were paying attention last night and hearing the alerts, lives were saved. We heard more than one story where the people said, "We just got out of there," or we were taking cover in the bathroom because the house was taken off its foundation, and they are safe because of their actions. All of those things were successes. One of the things I saw on my way here, there's a lot of traffic congestion, and I understand why, because there's a lot of roads closed. But one of the vehicles I saw on my way here, I was sitting behind a vehicle, and their license plate was "Rise Above." I thought, how perfect was that on a day like today? Rise above is the message that I think everybody can take away from this. Kalamazoo County, Portage, the city, all of these agencies are working together, and we're going to work with our communities to make sure that we rise above. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sheriff. And the Sheriff did mention our power utility and our gas utility here in Portage is Consumers Energy. And next we have Chris Laird to make some comments from that perspective. Mr. Laird.
Thank you very much. Again, Chris Laird, Vice President of Electric Operations at Consumers Energy. First off, I just want to say thank you to the public. We appreciate your patience as we work through this together to restore power to our communities. I really want to say thank you to all the public safety officials, all the county leaders, city leaders as we work through this and the great communication that's going on, as well as all the news stations to be able to communicate important messages to the customers as we work through restoration. So the storm and multiple tornadoes that swept through the region Tuesday really caused a lot of havoc for us. We're having challenges getting down roads with all the trees that are down, and we've had to mobilize quickly. We do have 160 electric line crews that are in the region right now working 24/7 to restore power, as well as 70 gas crews that are out to respond to those emergencies as well. We've identified, have damage assessment out, looked at every mile of line. We know all of the counts that we have, over 200 broken poles on the system right now. We have over 100 forestry crews supporting our restoration efforts as well as we go forward. So we had about 30,000 total customers out. We have 20,000 remain, so a third have been restored. Our goal is to have the majority on by midnight tonight. We will have customers that go into tomorrow in the hardest hit areas, and we're continuing to work round the clock to make sure that we safely restore power to everybody. As a former line worker, I just want to paint the picture for a minute for you guys. So as tornadoes come through, trees, lines get tangled together. It takes a lot of time and energy to safely take care of that and restore power to folks. So I firsthand been through that. I also am a former firefighter, volunteer firefighter, so I have great appreciation for the work that the men and women and all the organizations across the counties do every day to support these efforts as we go forward. So again, we're going to work around the clock. We're going to attempt to get the majority of folks on tonight. We will have some that go into tomorrow. Thank you very much for your patience as we continue to go forward. It's an all hands on deck approach for us. All the men and women at Consumers Energy are working around the clock. And I want to say a couple other things. Safety is the top priority for us, for all the folks that are standing behind me, and for our communities. You can call and report things to 911. You can also call Consumers Energy at 1-800-477-5050 for electric or gas emergencies, and we will quickly get out and respond. Thank you again.
Thank you, Chris. And I do want to, we started out with our headliner, Mayor Randall, and I just wanted to comment that from when the alarms went off, she was completely involved and immersed in what was going on in Portage and didn't give up all the way through today right now, and she's still at it. But to show what our true priority is, it is safety. And so I want to introduce our Public Safety Director, Nick Armold. Nick?
Thank you. Yeah, so just to catch everybody up on what public safety has been doing all last night and throughout the day today, we have up-converted our staffing so that we've been able to check all of the areas that were worst hit. We've double checked and triple checked all of those areas to make sure that nobody was trapped in there, nobody was stuck, and that the help that was needed for all of them is getting to them. We have concerns about power lines still down, gas leaks going on, so we're working with Consumers Energy to help them get to where they need to do to fix those things. It's devastating. I took my first ride around there earlier today and saw exactly what everybody was talking about, and it is really hard to comprehend what you see out there, and then to put that up against the fact that we had not only no fatalities but little, if any, injuries at all. It's just mind-boggling. It makes you think that somebody was definitely looking out for us. Our warning systems worked perfectly. The phones, the sirens, all of the notifications through media alerted everybody, and I think that's what lent us to where we are today. Yeah, it's very tragic to see the pain on the people who lost their homes, but we will recover from that. We'll help them recover from that, and until everything is set, public safety will be front and center. We'll have people here responding to anything we need to respond to. And with that, I'll turn it back over to the city manager.
Well, thank goodness, right on time, the Red Cross showed up. So we're going to invite the Red Cross up to say a few words for us.
Right, thank you, Mayor. Community, thank you so much for having us this afternoon. The Red Cross has activated since last night. We have a shelter that is open since last night. We currently have about 20 residents, just came from there a little while ago. And that number is fluctuating up and down a little bit. But really what we're focusing on right now is immediate needs. That means shelter, food. We also had an opportunity to visit the community earlier today that was hardest hit, and was there with the governor as well. And I just want to reassure the community that the Red Cross is here. We're strong. We've established a disaster response operation, and we're here to support this community. I love this community. I'm a Bronco myself, and just here for whatever support is needed.
Your name?
Mary Lynn Foster. Mary Lynn Foster, Regional CEO for the American Red Cross here in Michigan. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Lynn. And I do want to just follow up on something that Chief Arnold mentioned about everything working the way it's supposed to. Something that also worked is you all. The Fourth Estate was alive and well as the entire event unfolded. I found myself relying on you partially as I was checking up on my detail and making sure I could confirm and verify you were all on the job all night, and I'm sure you're probably just as tired as we are. And with that, I'd like to offer an opportunity for you to ask any questions. I've got the answers right here behind me if I don't have them.
I was wondering about, you double-checked all the folks here. We got tens of thousands in Portage. How confident would you think that you are that no one's trapped, no one's stuck, that everyone is safe?
Yeah, we're definitely more than confident. We went through the hard-hit areas several times last night, and then redid all of those checks today, both police and fire. We're very confident that everybody has been accounted for, and we're very confident.
It was a tight, regimented operation last night. I was honored to watch it unfold here. They had teams of units going through every single neighborhood, boots on the ground, checking every single residence where a person could need help, and we felt very strong that every corner of town was being covered.
You guys do a good job coordinating. Mary Lynn and Rick and Pat all talking about folks that need shelter. There's available shelter. Can some of those folks in Pavilion be put in these churches? Can they go to the Red Cross? Can they go now?
100%, but I'll let Mary Lynn answer that.
Yes, absolutely. We do have residents from the Pavilion, from that community, at our shelter right now, as well as anyone in the community. Even if you need a small respite, you can come join our attend our shelter free of charge. Even if you just need a drink, a snack, a meal, some place to lay down. Absolutely, it's open to all, and again, no charge. We're happy to provide.
Where's that?
That's at the Kalamazoo First Assembly of God Church. Yep, several tornadoes, but I will let Sheriff.
So right now, of course, the Weather Service is going to be out assessing the damage, looking at the evidence that's left behind in a storm like this. We were looking at radar indicated rotation that was a high indicator of actual funnel clouds. We have some pictures of funnel clouds that we're trying to vet to make sure that they're accurate and that they are really from the Kalamazoo County Portage area. And so that's part of the process. But ultimately, after getting on scene, all of these emergency units, and by chance, if you just look behind you, there are several responders who are still taking care of people today. We're out in the middle of what turned out to be a second storm event that came through. And I can say that when we were working from the Pavilion Estates mobile home community, we watched as we were alerted by the Portage team that we had another cell coming our way. We put everybody in fire trucks, police cars, the closest home we could. And then when we were able to watch that event go across the bottom of the park, we recognized that we just scooted past something else that was easily a tornado. But of course, the National Weather Service will decide if these were tornadoes. But there was definitely two different storm events that did come straight down through Portage, starting out here at the edge of Portage, possibly into Texas Township, went across the city of Portage into Pavilion Township. Oddly enough, and I've not seen this before in the history of my nearly 38 years of emergency services, these two events were within an hour of each other, and these two events were at one point 700 feet between them. And so that's something that really struck many of the responders last night as we were alerted and as we took cover, that we were shocked to see that such a close window and another storm. And as much as I say a close window, if something like that's going to happen, we normally see that within 15, 20 minutes, maybe a half hour. I believe we were just over an hour or near an hour later when the second event came through.
Could you possibly assign a dollar figure to what we're looking at countywide?
So right now we're very cautious about that, of course. You know, just looking here at the city of Portage, and their teams are out there trying to do the same assessments. Watching the drone footage, we recognize that part of the efforts that we all have to work together on is helping, bottom line, the insurance companies, helping the disaster community, and helping the local residents put some value on some of these things. But we have mass destruction, and I have to keep reminding everybody, and thankfully there are no loss of life, and that the injuries that we did see yesterday ultimately turned out pretty minor, considering that many of these people were inside these homes that are demolished, or inside some of these homes that were flipped up and upside down. And so again, very fortunate for that. We're going to work with everybody I just mentioned to make sure that if there's a dollar estimate, that that's coming from professionals other than the sheriff, and that I can just tell you that the mobile home park out here in Pavilion Township, we're looking at 30 to 40% total devastation. And here in the city, I've been fortunate to watch some of the video that the chief made sure they had, and I would only let them speak to what kind of value they may have already, or what he wants to address reference that.
Yeah, I'd give the same answer. We're going to let the people who know what they're doing take a look at everything and make an assessment, and then come up to a conclusion. That's out of my pay grade, but I would fair to say it's going to be significant.
On that topic, Mayor Randall, your emergency declaration will help homeowners, business owners who may have lost everything in the way of loans.
That's the way it's supposed to work, and by issuing that,
The emergency declaration, I think, was issued last evening by myself, and then it goes to the county, and then the governor signed one as well. So that will be the catalyst for helping open up more dollars to the homeowners that have suffered the greatest.
When you say hardest hit areas, can you run through some of the major intersections in Portage right now that people need to avoid? I know you say everyone needs to stay home, but there are going to be people who are going to be out driving, and it's quite extensive throughout the area. What are the hardest hit areas?
Yeah, so if we were to pinpoint where we saw the most damage outside of the FedEx building, if you look between Center Road and Shuring, which is north and south, and then between Oakland and Westnedge. That's where we see the most damage. Equally, there's quite a lot of damage over Greenspire and Tall Timbers, which is on center, more closer to 131.
Can we hear some more details about what happened at the FedEx facility when that came through being one of the most severely hit places, and report about employees having to stay in there for a certain amount of time?
Yeah, I mean, that story's been circulated. We're not quite sure where it came from. We responded to FedEx rather quickly after the storm went through, and when we arrived there, they had accounted for all of their employees except one who was a driver that they later located. So everybody was safe and out of the building. So as far as people being trapped, maybe they were trapped before we got there and went to a different door, but we did not have any kind of extrication efforts that were needed by us.
That's all the questions. I'd like to thank you all for standing in the hot sun for a few minutes, and hope I don't see you all together again anytime soon. Thank you.
All right, Luke, we gotta go live like now. So let's go in the back here, away from everyone.
You want to have a bunch of trees in the background.
Oh
and
yeah,
falling
thank
in that
you.
corner.
Yeah, thank you so much.